Hey, Keto Clan. Thanks for joining us on this month's live Q&A. We got a special guest with us this week, Nikki Bell. She's been on her own keto journey for quite a bit of time. And, with May being such a hard month for me and so many other people, I decided to go ahead and do this live stream and focus on the mental and emotional aspect of changing our lives and taking our lives back. And after several conversations with Nikki, she has some really great insight. She's helped out me and a lot of the other Keto Clan members in our Facebook group. So I would like to welcome Nikki. Hi, Nikki.
Hey, everyone. Nice to see you.
All right, so real quick, let's see here. It looks like we have, hello, Gabby. Nice to see you back with us this month. So I usually kind of try to BS a little bit to give people a little bit more time to, join us in the chat. I did send out the link to have people join us on camera too. So we'll see if anybody else takes us up on that.
Awesome.
But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit, tell our viewers out there a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. Hi all. I'm Nikki Bell, and I am currently a resident of Palm Springs, California, but I've lived in Georgia and Texas and other places over my life. I am an employment background screening professional, and I am currently in a place called Borrego Springs. Borrego Springs is way Southern California, almost in Mexico, and so I'm currently in a van. But I can show you, we're looking at some art. I don't know if you can see, there's a giant eagle right here. It's pretty cool. It's all metal sculpture art and ginormous. So that's what we're doing on a long roundabout trip to spend the weekend in San Diego. So I can also share a little bit about my journey if you want to hear about that when it comes to trying to live in a way that is healthy for me.
That is awesome.
Cool. So I actually tried a number of different diets over my adult life. When I was in my early 20s, I was 300 pounds at one point. And I tried, Weight Watchers kind of things and all different kinds of changes that unfortunately were just not compatible with my life. It was really hard for me to maintain those choices, counting things and constantly trying to find things that I could eat. It was really hard and wasn't successful for me long term. So I ended up in 2007 having bariatric weight loss surgery. I had the Roux-en-Y procedure. And one of the things that you need to do for a successful future post-bariatric surgery is actually eat somewhat low carb. And I personally found that for me, that's very low carb. So I've done pretty well maintaining a keto-ish lifestyle for a number of years, and then unfortunately went through some really hard times. I gained back a significant amount of weight because I was dealing with the loss of my mother, a marriage ending, a number of different really challenging things. And I started to implement keto practices along with focusing on some recovery practices. I'm also sober. So it'll be 7 years in November. And so I've learned a lot of things from that 12-step recovery program that have helped me in my food and lifestyle habits as well. So I think that's really why I shared what I shared in your Facebook group and what brought this to us having a conversation today.
Well, first off, let me say congratulations and good job on your sobriety. Coming from a childhood where I grew up in Alateen, was surrounded by addiction most of my life. I understand how hard that is, and just congratulations on you, and just good job. Good job. Yeah. It looks like you might have frozen a little bit. I'm sure being out in the middle of nowhere, the signal strength isn't that great. Oh, wait, no, maybe.
I can hear you, and everything seems good on my end.
Yeah, just the video is freezing up a little bit, which is fine. That's one of the quirks about doing a live stream, right? So, it's funny when we talk about dealing with the mental and emotional aspects of taking our life back, getting healthy. I really do think that my experience growing up in the anonymous programs in Alateen, learning the principles of the 12-step program, it's amazing how similar that is. And actually, no, it really isn't all that amazing, because the vast majority of us get so unhealthy because we are addicted to food. And
right.
When it comes to food, it's not something that you could just stop. You have to have food. So, I mean, in that degree, and don't get me wrong, only that degree, it is slightly more difficult to manage a food addiction, because there is no such thing as complete abstinence from your addiction.
Agreed.
Right?
It's really challenging to, recover from unhealthy eating habits, because we have to eat, and we're survive food, and there are lots of activities that go along with eating. So when you have potlucks or holidays or gatherings of more than 2 people, what do? You eat.
Yeah, you eat. Yeah. I mean, I remember my first Thanksgiving, after really dedicating myself to the keto lifestyle. Just walking across and looking at the spread of food, going, okay, I could eat 4 items. But luckily,
right? I was, turkey.
Yeah. So I was with my family, right? And, I had been doing keto for a couple of months, and I had already shown some great improvements in my health, both in physically how I looked and in my, blood markers and all that good stuff. So my family was very supportive and actually made sure that they had a big thing of baby spinach there for me. So I just made the most epic turkey salad. It was a nice Thanksgiving salad that was just amazing. I mean, obviously no stuffing or cranberry sauce or anything like that, but I was able to sit and still enjoy that time with my family and still, partake in the ritual that is eating, Thanksgiving dinner. But yeah, I mean, there was definitely a mental struggle there on whether or not I was going to fully enjoy the more traditional holiday, but again, with my family's support, it was a whole lot easier. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't have that kind of a support system, and they really have to rely on themselves and their own, willpower and wherewithal. So we have a question here, non-keto question from Gabby. Do you think that I can lose fat and reverse my insulin resistance eating low carb at 150 grams of total carbs instead of keto every day. Okay, Gabby. That is really going to depend on where your body is. Okay. And, I know you've watched a lot of my videos, Gabby. So you know that my question is always going to be, or my answer is always going to be, it depends on you. But here's the thing. Eating low carb is going to have more health benefits than eating a standard traditional American diet. Okay. But if you are not keeping your body in ketosis, i.e., your body is generating ketones from fat, is it possible to still lose fat? Yes. The main issue with reversing your insulin resistance, though, is that many carbs in a day. Your body is still going to be relying on glucose. Your body is still going to be trying to get rid of that glucose, which is going to require your pancreas to keep producing higher amounts of insulin, which is going to slow any progress of reversing any type of insulin resistance. Now, I actually do break the pattern of ketosis a couple of times a month, but I've been doing this for 2 years. And when I have my purposeful deviation days, I still stay in ketosis too, because my body is so keto adapted that I could eat an entire pizza and the next day still be in ketosis. So it really does depend on your body, how much damage has been done to your body. I know you've been working on this, Gabby, for a couple of years. I've watched your channel. And I really do think that your best bet is to eat as clean keto as possible for, 6 months straight, a year straight. Stay away from those sweet treats, stay away from the heavily processed foods. And I really do think that you can reverse a lot of the damage that was done from having a glucose metabolism, but you're going to have to dedicate yourself to it. So in short, to answer your question, is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Will it be a struggle? Will it be hard? Will it be harder? Absolutely, it will. The simple fact is the more carbs you eat and the more sweets you eat, the harder it's going to be to manage your cravings. And the harder it is to manage your cravings, the more we run into the mental and the emotional backlash of trying to take your life back. So until you have developed those habits that make it a lot easier to deal with the mental and the emotional aspect of it, it is always best to stay the course and, be as clean as possible. All right, so vegetable carbs. There are certain vegetables that I say to stay away from. Here, let's display this up for everybody here. I'm going to bring Nikki back on. It looks like she got kicked off for a second, but we'll see what Nikki has to say about this too. And Nikki, it looks like your mic is muted.
Yep. Hi.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So vegetables. There are a couple of vegetables that I tell people to stay away from, namely root vegetables, your high starch vegetables like potatoes, carrots, anything that really grows in the ground. But vegetables are a must. You have to eat vegetables. I mean, obviously your high fiber leafy green vegetables are going to be your best because they're the most nutrient rich. And the soluble fiber, the insoluble fiber is just amazing for your body, and you need that for digestive health and a number of other things. So 50 grams of net carbs is still a little high. I typically have people start with 50 grams of total carbs and to aim for the vast majority of those carbs to come from vegetables. Oh, we lost Nikki again. It's okay. The glorious thing about live streams. But when you are eating carbs, carbs are definitely better from vegetable sources, for sure. Now, there are some vegetables that are better than others. Cauliflower, spinach, asparagus, Brussels sprouts. These are vegetables that do a lot more for your body than just give you the vitamins and the minerals too. But those are definitely the way to go. Vegetables are awesome. Just be careful of the ones that are higher in starch, higher in sugar, and you'll be good there. Tamara just joined us. Thank you, Tamara, for coming on in. Tamara is one of the newest members of the Drgn clan. She is one of my one-on-one coaching clients. So thank you for joining us, Tamara. So let's see if we can bring. See, I could have an occasional sweet potato. Yeah. So here's what Tamara just said. Here's and I was just kind of explaining this a little bit. With any vegetables, whether it be potatoes, carrots, tomatoes, sweet potatoes, they are certainly something that can eventually be brought in to your diet on a rare occasion, and they're going to do some really good things for you, giving you some micronutrients, giving you some minerals and vitamins that you don't necessarily get all the time. Also, having a wide variety of foods that you eat on occasion will help your gut biome and all those little bacteria that are in your gut that help digestion and break down the vitamins and minerals so you could use them. That is absolutely a good thing. Now, Tamara, you and I have already spoken that your body is taking to keto very, very easily. So you are going to be able to introduce foods like that a lot quicker than some other people. My other clients had a lot more damage done to their body from the standard American diet, from the glucose metabolism. So for them, I would definitely recommend and have recommended that they stay on keto for 6 months to a year without introducing any of the higher starch or higher sugar vegetables. And it's just because your body, when a lot of damage has been done, can react very negatively to introducing foods like that. But Tamara, for you, I would definitely say, test it out, test your numbers like I've told you to do. And if that works for you, it's definitely something that you could eat on occasion. Don't do it every day because there's a lot of carbs in them. But definitely something that you can do. And our next question here, let's see here. All right. So, what would you say that I should eat 50 grams of total carbs, but not worry about counting the carbs from the keto-friendly vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, cabbage, eggplant, etc.? Okay. So, Gabby, do you have a way to test your ketone levels? Whether that be a blood glucose or a blood ketone meter or a breath meter. I'm not a big fan of the urine sticks because once you do become keto adapted, you're not passing as many ketones through the urine because you're actually using them. So I'm not a big fan of those, especially if you've been on this lifestyle for a while. But the Drgn keto system, and I do have a book that is being released on the 5th through Amazon Kindle. And if you guys want to see, There it is. Right. So you could find that. It's available for pre-order now. But this book actually goes through how to test what food does to your body. Okay. I will never say just blanket, you can not count any carbs from these foods. Okay. Spinach and avocado are probably the closest thing that I have found that is kind of a universal. You don't have to count the carbs. But still, it's always a matter of testing. Okay. So get a good baseline of where your ketones stay before a meal and after a meal, and then introduce a new food item and see what your numbers do. See how you feel. Okay. Now, we're not looking if it knocks you out of ketosis or if it raises, we're just looking for the change in your numbers. Okay. So, Gabby, if you have never tested your ketones before, I highly recommend getting a meter, either a blood meter or a breath meter. You could find them for about $40 on Amazon. The one that I use is $40 on Amazon. Can you do this without testing? Yes, you can. Are you making your life a whole lot harder? Yes, you are. So it's definitely one of those things that if you want to introduce food, or if you want to see if you could eat a particular food as much as you want and not have to count anything from it, test. Okay. And that's just, that's my experience. Okay. And that is the basis for the Drgn Keto system. That is what I've been running all of my clients through, and it's working. So let's see what else we got going on here. All right. So we don't have any more questions here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go over some of the steps that I've developed to help with the mental and the emotional aspects of changing your life, changing your habits, taking control back using the keto lifestyle. Okay. Canada. Welcome. Thank you for joining us again. So Miss Fox, she is from Canada. She has a keto channel on YouTube. She joined us for our last live stream, or the live stream before that. She has some great information too, and her and I have actually been talking about collaborating on a couple of things. So thank you so much for joining me here. But let's go ahead and get into. Oh, sorry about that. I just hit my microphone. Let's go ahead and show you this. Okay, this is actually a sneak peek of my book, and this is the Get Your Mind Right chapter of my book. And these are the 10 principles for keto success by myself, the Keto Drgn. And we're going to go ahead and go through these right now. So the first thing that is so very hard to do is break the habits of, hey, come on, there we go. All right. It is break the habits of dieting. Okay. Keto isn't a diet. Okay. Keto, it really isn't even a lifestyle. Keto is short for ketosis, which is the metabolic state of using ketones for energy, and you get ketones by processing fat in your liver. Okay. But too many people say the keto diet. Now, if we break down the word diet, diet is actually just what you eat. Okay. But colloquially, societally, diet means losing weight. Okay. And that is absolutely the worst thing that you could have in your brain, that what you're doing is to lose weight. Okay. Will you lose weight if you have weight to lose? Absolutely, you will. Okay. But this lifestyle, this way of eating, this method, okay, is about getting healthy. Getting healthy. And when your body is healthy, it will naturally go to the weight that is healthiest for it. Okay. By listening to your body, by giving your body what it needs in the foods that you eat, you're going to either gain weight if you need to gain weight, or you're going to lose weight if you need to lose weight. It's amazing. Our bodies are so much smarter than us. And I know that's kind of ironic, but our consciousness gets influenced by society. Our consciousness gets influenced by the people that are around us, where our body does what it does. Our body does what it does to survive and thrive. Okay. And if we're giving our body what it needs, it is going to do what it does to be healthy and thrive and survive. Okay. So, with that being said, the number one thing here, throw your scale away. Now, I'm not actually talking like throw your scale away, because weight is a marker. It is a metric, okay? But it should not be the only metric that you use, and cannot be the only metric that you use, especially when you're first starting off in the keto lifestyle, because you're going to drop a bunch of weight real quick. That's all water weight. That's all, the glycogen and water and electrolytes that your liver is storing, because you're in a glucose metabolism. So you'll drop that real quick, and then you're not going to drop any more weight, because your body is entering into a healing phase. Okay. And that can last months, depending on how much damage was done to your body. Right. So when I say throw your scale away, it's a mental tool. Okay. If you're going to get on your scale, make sure it's a scale that measures more than just weight. My scale measures body composition in several different metrics that I pay attention to far more than the actual number of pounds that gravity affects my mass. Okay. That's all weight is. Okay. So that's probably number one to help you on your mental and your emotional journey, is stop worrying so much about the number on the scale. Okay. Oh, and we got Nikki back, so I'm going to bring her in. See what she has to say about any of this. Hi, Nikki.
Hi again. Drove through some mountains apparently that were unexpected.
Yeah, that could happen on a road trip.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you were still able to join us, though, too, even though you're on that road trip. So thank you for that.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you think about the throwing your scale away?
That one's challenging for me.
It is.
Personally.
For a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Yeah. Personally, using my scale is one of many metrics that I use in order to track my progress over time. And I felt like doing a period of time where I weighed in every day kind of desensitized me to the fluctuations that I experience, some of which is likely because I am female and deal with, ups and downs in my weight that may be caused by hormonal changes and not necessarily impacted at all by what I'm eating or drinking. So I think there are definitely, people and times where getting rid of a scale, hiding it away for a while is great. And then there are times where I needed a bit of a reality check, that only seeing those little fluctuations that happened every day could do for me.
Yeah, and the whole throwing your scale away, like I was saying, is more of a like an extreme hyperbolic type, yeah, just throw it away. But no, you're not really throwing it away. It's
Right.
more of a way to try and get people to realize that weight is not, not only is it not the only metric, but it shouldn't even be close to the most important metric.
Yeah.
You know,
I
because
agree with that too. There are so
yeah,
many other things that are important for me, like energy levels. I mean, being able to start to exercise and not feel like I'm going to die when I walk a mile. Like I've been
yeah,
able to walk a mile after sitting on my couch for the last 18 months. Like literally, right?
yeah. I mean, I started, studying MMA, Krav Maga, and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and all that good stuff, and I could actually do it now, and I have energy afterwards. I'm actually starting to teach my kids a lot of the martial arts that I know. So I'm outside or working with them, and they're getting worn out before I am.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Now, the next thing here is forgetting everything you know about nutrition. Okay, and again, this is yeah, no, it's not hyperbole at all, because what most of us have been taught with the standard American diet is so absolutely wrong. It's crazy. So this one right here helps us on our mental and our emotional journey by understanding that we need to reteach ourselves. We need to get to the point to where we have an open mind and relearn all the negative habits, all the bad habits that we've been taught by the standard American diet. Um, the fact that the only way to lose weight is high carb, low fat, and that's pretty much the standard American diet, and most of us are obese.
Right.
I got the sun coming right in my eyeballs.
Ouch. Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree that the whole calories in, calories out thing is only part of the puzzle. And it's
Oh, a small
really
part too.
easy. Yeah, and it's really easy for people to see that, like standard American diet stuff and think that they're, supposed to eat, a cup of meal and things like that. The majority of us don't give a few eat or
Yeah,
help
we're
us
not
with weight
hearing
loss
anything that
goals
you were just
either.
saying.
Um,
Yeah. No.
Damn it.
Yeah. It's all right. We definitely got the gist of what you were saying. The calories in, calories out. What you were just saying. Yes, at a very, very, very high level, that is how we lose weight, right? We burn more calories than we take in, but um, imagine what it's doing to your body if you eat 2,000 calories of Oreos and
Right.
that's all you eat all day, or you actually eat 2,000 calories of, protein and fat and leafy green vegetables and all that good stuff. I mean, my lunch today was a big O steak with eggs and spinach. It's just absolutely phenomenal. It was great. It tasted so good, and that's actually giving my body more of what it needs. And when you give your body more of what it needs, it will do what you want it to do better. you know 2,000 calories of Oreos, your body is going to go into starvation mode. And even if you burned 3,000 calories that day, you're not going to lose any weight, you're not going to burn any fat, you're not going to do anything but damage your body. So that's all right. We got another question here from Gabby. Let's see what we got here. When doing keto for fat loss and reversing insulin resistance, should I worry about how many calories I consume each day or just eat until I'm satisfied every day without worrying about my calorie intake? So, funny you would ask that, especially since we were just talking about the whole calories in, calories out. I could tell you that in the 2 years that I've been doing this, I have not counted a single calorie. Is that me telling you that you should not count calories? No. Again, it depends on what's going to work best for you. Okay. If you have a solid amount of self-control that you can actually stop eating before you get to the point to where you're full, that you can stop eating when you're just satisfied, you should be okay. If you're eating enough fat and only eating until you're just satisfied, quite naturally, you're going to stop eating so often, especially as you get keto adapted, especially if you get fat adapted. I eat once a day, not because I'm purposefully doing intermittent fasting. It's because I'm only hungry once a day, because I get a lot of fat in, I get a decent amount of protein in. I actually go a little bit more than, what the standard 20% protein. I go over that protein all the time, but I've got 160 pounds of muscle on me. So, you got to support what you have. And, my carb intake is usually, in the 20s for, net carbs. And that's all going to be spinach and broccoli and cauliflower and asparagus and, all the good vegetables. Okay. I don't count calories because I listen to my body. But listening to your body is a skill that needs to be developed, just like listening to another person that you're having a conversation with. Okay. So many people have no idea how to actually communicate with another person, let alone communicate with themselves in an open and honest way. So if you need to count calories to make sure that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, absolutely count calories. If you don't need to count calories, like I don't, then don't. If you need to count calories only on the weekends because you're not at work and you're at home all day and you find yourself eating more, then count calories on the weekend. It really is all about finding what works for you. Not counting calories works for me. And in fact, it's probably why I've been able to stay and stick with this lifestyle for as long as I did before it just became natural habit. I wouldn't even say, second nature. This is my nature now. But yeah, so again, it's all about what works for you. So let's go ahead and move on here, because this is an important one. Okay. A lot of the mental and the emotional, give me just a second here. I will be right back, everybody. I'll let you read this. Thank you so much, everybody, for waiting on me there. Yeah, preteen boys. They know I'm sitting here broadcasting all over the internet and still need to knock on the door to ask to play a video game on the computer that I'm using to live stream.
Well, of course.
Yeah, of course. But I love them to death. They are my purpose for living. keep telling myself that. Keep telling myself that. But yeah, okay. So what I was saying is, you know, cravings. I am always, always, always asked how to deal with cravings. Cravings. What if I'm craving this? What if I'm craving that? I have such a hard time because I'm always craving bread, or I'm always craving cake, or whatever. Okay. Nikki, how did you deal with that?
Yeah, there were actually two things that I did that really helped with me and cravings. And, you know, one of them is trying to find things that help those, right? Like if I am craving a particular thing, I stop and think about why. Being mindful of my cravings is a huge life-changing tactic for me. And so I use some of my tips from sobriety, one of which is an acronym called HALT. Am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? And, and so if I stop and say, I want cake, and if so, there's
we're losing you
if
again.
you know there is.
Yep. Looks like we lost you. So when I'll go ahead and let you know when it looks like we got you back there. Or, you know, it'll kick you out again. You'll have to get back in, however that works. But what she was saying is so very important is when you have a particular craving, take a moment. Okay. Think about it. Really like stop what you're doing if you can, or, you know, later when you have a moment to actually sit and think about it. Okay. Thinking about what you're craving and why you're craving it can definitely help, because a lot of the times we're craving things not because our body needs it, or not because there's something that our body's lacking, which you always hear. Okay. A lot of the times it's a mental habit or an emotional reaction, or something like that. You know, it's super important to understand where your cravings are coming from. Okay. Now, another thing that I try to let people know, and I kind of touched on it a little bit with one of Gabby's questions, is the more you give in to those cravings, even if it's a keto friendly version of that craving, you're not actually taking care of the root cause of that craving. Okay. You're just feeding it. You're giving in to the symptom, right? There are a lot of foods that that are keto friendly that mimic very closely the carb laden craving inducing foods. Okay. Pizza is one of my huge cravings. I'm pretty much always in the mood for pizza, right? And when I first started, I did a lot of like the fat dough pizzas, and you know, and still I do every once in a while, right? But I only do that. I only let myself have that stuff when I'm not craving it. Okay, I'm breaking the pattern. I'm breaking the habit. Okay, I know I really enjoy pizza, right? But if I'm craving pizza, I'm not going to get pizza. I'm going to eat something else. I'm going to eat something high in fat. I'm going to eat something high in nutrients, right? So what that does is it rewires your brain. Okay. If you're having a particular craving for something that you really shouldn't be eating, and you eat something else that you should be eating, eventually your brain's going to get the hint. Eventually you're going to catch the clue, right? And those cravings will stop. And even if they don't stop, they'll get to the point to where they're super manageable, right? And you can start indulging in some of those more keto friendly versions of those. without it being so absolutely mentally and emotionally draining trying to fight it. Okay. So just replace it with something that you're supposed to be eating, even though it's not going to satisfy that craving at first. It will eventually. Huh. Yeah, let's throw this out here, right? Got a post here about apparently Ted Nugent has a Kill It and Grill It book that has some pretty delicious recipes in it. I would imagine because you're having to kill it and grill it, that it's meat based. Depending on what the recipes are, and if there's rubs or sauces or stuff like that that you have to put on it. I would probably stay away from most of that stuff, because a lot of the rubs will have like brown sugar. A lot of the sauces will have molasses and stuff like that in it. But thank you, Josh. If that's a something that anybody wants to check out, and go for it. All right, so we're going to move on to eating when you're actually hungry. Okay, and this goes back to listening to your body. Okay. On a glucose metabolism, most of us, we actually think that we are eating when we're hungry. We think we know that our body is telling us that we're hungry. And in reality, most of the time, our body is telling us that we are low on glucose, so we need more energy. Okay. That's why that's why you get the feelings that you're feeling. Okay. The hunger hormone is actually released when you're on a glucose metabolism, not when you need more nutrients, but when you need more glucose. Okay. Much like any illicit drugs, when the dopamine and serotonin and all the chemicals that doing nasty drugs do to elevate, when those start going down, your brain starts saying that you need those drugs again, even though they're very, very, very bad for you. Okay. Glucose is the same way. If your body has gotten to the point to where it's used to having glucose for energy, when you're low on glucose, your body's going to say, hey, I need more glucose. Okay. When you're on a keto metabolism, a ketogenic metabolism, you're pretty much always going to have energy, right? Especially if you're like me and you have plenty of energy stored up. Yeah. So what's happening is when your body starts getting low on nutrients, iron, folic acid, all the vitamins and minerals, your body will actually release the hunger hormone and tell you that you need to eat. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why it's so vitally important to make sure that you're getting high quality vegetables that are low in carbs, and why it's important that you're getting a wide variety of fat, including saturated fat, polyunsaturated fat, and monounsaturated fat, because each one of those types of fats have different vitamins and minerals in them that you will only get through that fat. Okay. So a lot of things out there, a lot of information out there will tell you that you need to stay away from saturated fat, and that is absolutely wrong. Completely 100% wrong. If you are in a ketogenic metabolism, saturated fat is processed into energy just like any other fat, and you're not going to have to worry about it clogging your arteries or anything like that. In fact, the only time you have to worry about saturated fat clogging your arteries is when you are on a glucose metabolism, because the carbohydrates actually create inflammation in your arteries, hardening your artery walls, and you're also not processing the fat that you're eating into energy. So there's an excess of fat, and that's what starts building up into arterial plaque. Okay. There's a great book. It's by Jimmy Moore called Cholesterol Clarity. You should definitely check that out. So eat when you're actually hungry. That means that you have to actually think about and figure out and understand when you are actually hungry. Okay. And that does actually go back into that HALT thing with what Nikki was talking about. Are you hungry? Are you angry? Are you, what was it? Lonely or tired, right? A lot of us use eating as a way to get past mental and emotional negative feelings, negative energy. Okay. And there's a solid reason too, because when we eat, our body releases dopamine and serotonin and all the feel good chemicals. Okay. Very similar to when using illegal and illicit drugs. Your body releases those feel good chemicals, and it's a reward system to your brain and to the rest of your body, right? So when your body is low on those and you're starting to get into a slump, or feeling depression, or you're sad or angry or tired even, we have trained ourselves to go eat something because that's going to raise those levels. Well, don't do that. It's a lot easier said than done. Way, way, way a lot easier said than done. But there are so many other ways that we could raise those levels if we're not actually hungry than eating. Okay. Go for a walk, believe it or not. Just getting active will raise all those levels. Do something that you enjoy doing, whether it's playing a video game or designing something, creating something, reading a book. It doesn't matter. Do something that you enjoy, and those levels will raise, and you'll find that you're not hungry anymore. Okay. So let's move on here. Monitor your ketone levels. That's just one of the principles of success here. Doesn't really fit in with what we're talking about here. More active equals healthier. Yes. And I actually did just touch on this. Sorry, my phone's going off. I've got several groups that I'm part of. But when you're feeling down, and if anybody watched the stress eating video that I put out on YouTube, I mentioned this then too. When in a rough emotional state, when you're sad, angry, things are just not feeling like they're going well, getting active, doing something physical, whether it's just standing up and sitting down 20 times at your couch, or going outside and going for a walk until you can't anymore, going for a run, lifting weights, doing an activity, getting active. That will actually help raise your serotonin levels. It will raise your dopamine levels. It will raise all the feel good chemical levels, and you will feel better. I promise. I do it all the time. When I'm having an especially rough morning, or I've had an especially rough evening, the next day, I make sure that I go to my MMA class. And I tell you what, it's the natural high is amazing. I am in such a good mood. I have energy for the rest of the day. It's awesome. Okay. Now, I'm not saying, go out there and do something that physical. Remember, I have been in this lifestyle for 2 years, and I've got a long history of being active, especially in martial arts. So I'm not saying go out and do something that extreme, but definitely go out and do something that fits your physical activity level. Push it just a little bit, not a lot. Okay. The act of pushing yourself further than you have before, even if it's just a little, will actually release more of those feel-good hormones than anything else. Okay. And then Google's your friend. We're going to stay away from that when we're talking about mental and emotional health, because sometimes Google could definitely not be your friend in that way. Okay. You are a unique butterfly. I love this one because it really does explain the core of the Drgn keto system. Everybody is different. Okay. Everything that I'm saying right now, I'm trying to be as general as possible. And I'm trying to give all of you out there hints to try. Okay. If it works for you, absolutely wonderful. If it doesn't work for you, keep looking. Keep trying to find what is going to work for you. Okay. And definitely, if you're interested in talking to me more, reach out to me on YouTube, reach out to me on Facebook. Okay. I am more than happy to start up a conversation. In fact, if anybody is interested, I do have a Patreon account. Okay. And through here, there's a few different levels. Okay. You've got your standard level. Now, every single one of these, every level of Patreon will get you into the very private Discord server for Drgn Clan. Okay. I'm sorry, not Drgn Clan, for Keto Clan. Okay. And this is where you will have one-on-one contact with me and my team, any of my keto chieftains, as I call them, the people that I am training to be a coach also. And then, there's a few different options here, whichever fits what you want. And then Tamara is one that is on my one-on-one coaching. This is where you get direct one-on-one access to me, and we're going to figure out exactly what's going to work for you. That is definitely not something where I am telling you what worked for me. I might tell you what worked for me and then tell you to see if that's going to work for you. Okay, so there's that. And let me bring up the... Come on. There it is. All right, let's bring this back up here. Okay. But this is what I teach, that you are a unique butterfly. Okay. Yes, there are some basic principles of keto, being in a ketogenic metabolism that are universal to everybody, but how you get there, what your body needs, is going to be different than anybody else. Okay. And that's what I teach. That's what I coach. And that's how I guide the people that I work with on getting into this lifestyle and figuring out how it's going to work for them. So let's see here. Be patient with yourself. This is a huge one for the mental and emotional aspect. In fact, these last two, these last two here are so vitally important. Okay. You have to be patient. Okay. Especially if you're trying to do this right. Okay. And by right, I'm not saying that you're doing it my way. Okay. Or you're doing it that person's way, or Dr. Berg's way, or Thomas DeLauer's way, or, your doctor's way. Okay. No, there's only one right way to do keto. Only one. And that's yours. Your way. You need to figure out how to do it your way. Now, most people can't do this by themselves. I even had help at the beginning. Okay. Being patient with yourself while you're figuring this out is so vitally important. Okay. You could be lucky like Tamara is, and she fell into ketosis super quick, and she's able to figure out the things that she can and can't eat, can and can't eat pretty quick. She didn't have a whole lot of damage that was done to her body in the first place. So things are moving along for her at a pretty quick pace, and it's amazing and it's awesome. And I am so happy to be part of that journey for her. Or you can be like my other clients, that the damage done was so extensive, was so bad, that it took 3 weeks to finally figure out how to get them into ketosis. And then, 2 months of the healing process before they actually got fat adapted and they're starting to actually burn body fat. They're so insulin resistant that sucralose, something that isn't supposed to have any type of reaction to your blood sugar at all, is spiking their blood sugar. In those situations, patience is the number one key to success. You have to be patient with yourself, because I'm not going to give up on you if you're working with me. It's not going to happen. The only way that working with me isn't going to work is if you give up, because I'm not going to. I believe in this lifestyle way, way too much. I believe in the system that I've created way, way too much because of what it's done for me and what it's done for people that I care about, that I've worked with. One of my clients in Florida, working with me for 7 months, she was trying to get pregnant. Couldn't. Trying for a long time to get pregnant. Couldn't get pregnant. Working with me for 7 months, she got pregnant. Okay. I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I was able to help her put the work in. I was able to help her find what was going to work for her to get her body healthy enough to create life. Yes, proud moment. Okay. But 7 months it took, and with her, there were several times that she disagreed with what I was saying, and she went out and started listening to somebody else, and then came back after she realized that what that other person was saying didn't work for her. Okay. I'm never going to say that you have to do it this way. I'm going to tell you that you have to try this, see what happens. Try this, see what happens. And you know what? If I've told you to try 30 different things and they all haven't worked, guess what? I'll find number 31 and 32 and 33, because I'm not going to give up. So I need you to have the patience to not give up too. And even if you're not working with me, keep that in mind. Okay. Be patient with yourself. Okay. And then be kind to yourself. We're all human. We're all going to make mistakes. And this isn't just through your keto lifestyle. This is for life. Okay. Are you going to have a day where you slip up and eat things that you're not supposed to eat? Absolutely, you are. You are. It's going to happen. And it's okay. Learn from it. Just like all other aspects of your life, are you going to make a mistake? Are you going to do something that you shouldn't have done? Yes, you are. We're human. We're going to make mistakes. You learn from it and you move on. You learn from it so you don't do it again, at least in that same way. If you're like me, you'll end up, making the same mistake like 4 times, but not in the same way. Yeah. But so vitally important to be kind to yourself. You need to understand that you're going to mess up. And you know what? It's okay that you mess up as long as you learn from it. Okay. So anybody else have any other questions? We've been on for about an hour here. I definitely want to open it up. If anybody wants to ask their question on camera, let me know. I'll send you the link to get in. Oh, you know what? While we're here, whoever is still on with us, I want to show you something. If you're interested, I got swag. So, store.ketodrgn.com. You can get in here and, look through. Whatever you end up getting will just help me keep making videos like this. Help me, be able to dedicate my time to helping as many people as possible take their life back. That is my goal. That's my goal for this. That's my goal in life. If I can get to the point to where this is my full-time job, I could help so many more people. And that's what I want to do. I want to make this my full-time job. I want to make, creating videos to help people. I want to make working with people one-on-one and coaching them. I want this to be my full-time job. So the more you share out my content, the more subscribers I get on YouTube, the more merchandise gets sold, and the more Patreons that I get people to subscribe to, the closer it is to me being able to do this full time and help as many people as I can. Oh, we got Sherry. We got another question here. Okay. I got testing my blood sugar and see what I can handle and not. Yes. That is so important. Okay. So testing your blood sugar, even if you're not diabetic, is so super helpful. Okay. I do it. I'm not diabetic anymore. I was. I'm not anymore. But I still test my blood sugar, especially if I'm introducing something new to my system, right? One of the actually, I love the way you put it, Sherry. Empowering. Okay. If you want to start combating the mental and emotional negativity that can come with trying to take your life back, doing things like this that will empower you and give you more information and give you more control will absolutely help. Absolutely help. Especially if you're a control freak like I am. It's so bad. But that is, definitely something that's super helpful is to know what a particular food is doing to your blood sugar. Okay. Because here's the thing, your ketones might stay the same, but your blood sugar spikes. Okay. If your blood sugar spikes, that means your pancreas is going to release insulin, and insulin will prevent your ketones from going into the cells and being exposed to the mitochondria to give you energy. Okay. It's all part of the same circle. Okay. And the reason why the insulin does that, it prevents the ketones from getting into your cell, is because your body's trying to get rid of the glucose. Okay. It's trying to get rid of it. Your body will process out the most harmful substances that you put in it first. Okay. So toxins, stuff like, artificial food that your body just doesn't know is food. The first thing your liver does is filters that out, encapsulates it in fat to get it away so it doesn't cause any damage. Okay. Next, your body will process alcohol. Okay. So if you go out on a bender and drink half a bottle of whiskey, your body is not processing any nutrients. It's not processing any food at all until that alcohol has been processed out. Okay. Then your body processes glucose and carbohydrates. And it's because carbohydrates and glucose, it's just bad. It does so much damage to your body. Inflammation of your joints and your ligaments and your muscles, and hardening of your arteries, and just so many bad things that glucose does. But we can use it as energy. So that's what we do. And why do you think we burn through glucose so fast? Our body's just like, get it out, get it out, get it out. Okay. This is all conjecture. This is all just my ideas and thoughts about how it all works. I'm not a scientist or a doctor, but it does make a whole lot of sense to me. The last thing your body's going to process out is the fat. And that's because it is our primary fuel source. And nobody's going to be able to tell me different. That is what I truly believe, that our bodies are made to use fat for energy. That's why we store it. That's why we convert so many other things to fat. So we have it because it's what we want. It's what our bodies want. Our brains work better. Our hearts work better. Our muscles work better. Just so many things work better on ketones or on fat. So with all that being said, I guess I am going to go ahead and sign off for now. I do want to thank you all so very much for joining me. I will have another one of these next month. I'm not sure what day yet. I do have my kids for the summer, so a lot of things are up in the air depending on what I'm able to do with them. So thank you all so very much. You all have a wonderful day. And keto on.